Hey, what's going on everybody? Gleez here, and today we're going to get into my thoughts on the beta, the stress test, how it was, things I liked, things I didn't like. But before we get into that, I want to send a big shout out to Sasuke Uzumaki. He gave me a key to Mortal Kombat 1 and I was able to play because of him. Now, he has a Mortal Kombat channel, a video game fighting channel that I think you would like. It's one of the original YouTube channels that I actually would watch for Mortal Kombat. And I'll put a link to his channel in the description below. I think you'll love it, especially his playthroughs for the 3D era games. Those are some of my favorites that he does. So make sure you check that out. Give him a huge thank you from me by going over there and subscribing to his channel. So with Mortal Kombat 1, there are a lot of great things, a lot of awesome things, some things that are kind of here and there, and other things that are kind of bad, and we're going to get into all of them in this video. So my overall impression with the Mortal Kombat 1 stress test, beta, whatever you want to call it, was very positive. I loved it. I had a blast playing it. A lot of the things that I questioned going in were resolved, and they're not really issues. I thought the Cameo system might be a little bit overwhelming. I thought there'd be too much stuff on the screen. It would just turn into like a Marvel game, but it doesn't. It's not. It doesn't play that way. The assists are used, and the way that they're utilized is not too chaotic. It's not too crazy. Each one has their own very specific instance of use, and I like the way that that dynamic works, allowing you to extend combos, maybe keep yourself safe, or do things that are outside of the scope of your normal character. So for instance, with Katana, she does very good as far as her neutral game. Her zoning is very good. She has good buttons, but she doesn't really open people up too well. So what I decided to do toward the end of the beta was actually use Jack. So I was getting the ground pound out there, and because it's unblockable, it was forcing people to jump. So this was causing a situation where I was able to get people opened up and get damage, so the Cameo was able to complement my character. Also in the corner, I was able to set it up, cause a ground pound as I go in with a jump in kick, and now I'm opening people up in the corner because they got to jump out. So they're going to jump out. If they don't jump out, they're going to get hit with the ground pound and my jump kick, and in that instance, they're going to get a full combo against them. So I thought that was very interesting, where you can take a Cameo and use the Cameo to cover up the weaknesses of your character. And I think that that's just going to expand as you move forward and we get more cameos and more characters. I just hope that they're able to make it so that it doesn't get too crazy. Right now, you can see that there are armored launchers in the game, which I don't know if I'm really feeling armored launchers. That's always been an issue, even back to Mortal Kombat X. So once they got rid of the armored launchers in Mortal Kombat X, that game was great. I loved it. Unfortunately, it was like right at the end when the game kind of subsided, when people stopped playing it, when tournaments kind of wound down. But I think that that was the best build of Mortal Kombat X, and still to this day, that's one of my favorite Mortal Kombat games in that build. I think it's excellent. You don't really want a situation where, you know, someone's barely negative and they're throwing out an armored move with a Cameo coming in, and even though they, you know, got outplayed in neutral, they're still getting an armored launcher because someone went to poke and take their turn. I don't know if you really want that in a game. So that's one of the negatives that I do have, but again, the grand scheme and scope of that, we don't really know yet. So we'll have to wait and see when the game's released and what the other cameos are doing and what armored moves are on each character and how they launch. There could be an easy fix for that. You know, maybe if you enhance a move that has armor, your Cameo gets, you know, shut off for maybe like 2 seconds so you can't call it. I don't know. Or maybe if you call a Cameo out, you can't use your armor move. I don't know how they would balance that, but I just hope that it doesn't ruin the game in that aspect. I do love the freedom in the game. The freedom is great. So you're able to launch people meterlessly. Your Cameo can come in, extend combos, and again, you can pick the Cameo that best helps to complement your character. And I think that's going to be a major thing, a major component moving forward, is to get the Cameos that work the best with your character, and not necessarily that do the most damage or extend the biggest combo. It might be something, again, like I used with Jax with Katana, it covers up a weakness or makes her weakness now not so much of a weakness because the Cameo helps to assist that. And I think that's really important. That's an important mindset to have moving forward when you go to break down the game when it does release in September. I know there's a lot of gripes about the walk speed, but I do like the walk speed. I like that I'm able to walk in and out of ranges. I'm able to walk people down that are throwing projectiles, and I'm able to crouch and move in. And I haven't really had an issue as far as the walk speed goes. The dashes do leave a little bit to be desired, though. I will say that the dashes are not really moving you too much, and you can't block out of them. So in order to get in when someone's using projectiles, especially if they're using projectiles that are overheads. So for instance, with Kenshi, you dash in and you can crouch in order to cut the dash off. So you can like crouch block if you want to, or just crouch to cut the dash off. But his overhead comes in with that chop down. The sword guy comes from the top of the screen. That's an overhead. So you can't dash in on him. You gotta walk in on Kenshi. And that does change the dynamic a little bit, whereas like with Liu Kang or Katana or someone else, you're able to dash in and crouch, dash, crouch, dash, crouch. And you're able to move in a little bit more successfully. So maybe doing something to the dash. I don't know exactly what they could do or how they can make it better, because I don't really want a dash that you're dashing and blocking and like Mortal Kombat 11 and just like moving across the screen. Though, you know, I used Sonya a lot in Mortal Kombat 11, and I was like a dash block specialist. Like that character moved across the screen like a maniac. I can move from one side of the screen to the other, and like he's like Carl Lewis, like running out there. That's how fast I would move from one side to the other. So it's not to say that, you know, oh, I don't want it because I'm not good at it, or, you know, oh, it's a high level thing. Not really. It's pretty easy to do if you know how to do it. Right, so I don't think it's something that needs to be in the game, but I do think that the dashes need some kind of rework, but I don't really know exactly how to tackle it. I do love the sound in the game. A lot of the hits, they carry a lot of impact, like bam, like you're just popping somebody as you hit them. The back two on Sub-Zero's launcher, or like just even like your down poke, like it sounds like you're really like boom, like you're just hitting somebody, and I really like that. I think they did a really good job with the sound, even the music. Mortal Kombat over the past few years has been notorious for like, you know, very bland, not bad music, like good music, but like just, you know, forgetful, like music that you don't really tie yourself to, you don't really have a huge interest in. But this game, I did dig the music a little bit. So there's also some quality of life issues that I kind of want to go over, some things that I think would just make the game better if they were adjusted or somehow taken out of the game. Freezing at the finish him, get rid of that. I like the fact that I'm able to finish my combos and the screen doesn't freeze and mess up all my timings. I'm trying to end in style, you know what I'm saying? So I want my combos to come out, and I also hate that it messes up the timing on the Cameo. So like the slow screen, for whatever reason, I felt like I would hit my Cameo at the normal time, and then like the last hit would hit, and then the Cameo would always come in like late. And it really messed up my flow, and I didn't like it. So make sure you guys change that. Up block. I get stuck in up block when I try to up block. So it seems like you're in that animation for a really long time. Even when you let go of block, the character is just kind of up in that position. And sometimes I was hitting it by accident when I was trying to block mixes from Sub-Zero, like 50-50s, not even trying to up block jump-ins, just having my up block, somehow I got into that animation and I noticed my character was like stuck in it. I'm like, why is my character still stuck in block? So they get stuck in that up block animation. I don't know if that's a balance thing. Maybe because, you know, someone's going to jump in. And I did do this to some people. They were up blocking me. I empty jumped and then I came in with a low and like comboed from there. So maybe it's a balance issue. Maybe it's done that way on purpose. I don't know. If it's not, it is happening. Random taunts. This is a major thing. So as you move in and out of ranges and you crouch, the game holds your down input for a really long time. So maybe you'll be walking forward, crouch a projectile, walk forward a little bit, crouch a projectile. Maybe you think one's coming again, you crouch again real quick, and you're got left and right inputs, but you're also hitting crouch along the way. And sometimes I would get like a random taunt. So if you make it so you have to hold like stance switch in order to taunt, I think that would be great. That would alleviate that immediately. Would be no issue. The screen gets dark when someone misses their fatal blow. I'm sure that'll be fixed. You probably already know about that, but that would be something that I would fix. It's really hard to block mixes, especially against Sub-Zero when you can't see him. Armored launchers, we already talked about that. Calling a Cameo will eat your button input. So if you plink buttons, so if you go from like I'll grab the controller. So if I were to go from like if I hit something almost at the same time, so like for instance, when I would call knives from Kano and do back 3-4, if I hit like this, like ba-boom, ba-doom, 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 like that quick, it would eat the input and I would only get my back 4. So it was like I would only get sweep. So you need to like do like an actual like press of the Cameo and then the button. So it was like something that you can't like tap, 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 like real quick. It'll eat that button input if you do that. And I did notice like it took a little bit of adjusting. Not a huge deal if that's something that we have to adjust to, okay. But I would like to be able to plink those buttons and go like doop doop doop, you know, like one Cameo, one button push, right? Like right one after the other would be great. Slow strings. So some of the strings look kind of weird and awkward, And it's not necessarily that the animations are awkward, but they just come out awkward because it's so slow. Some of the strings, that they could be sped up. Now, that could be an issue that they're slowed down for a reason. And that could be to stop like infinites and things like that. I know Katana has an infinite in the game currently, but obviously that'll be pulled out of the game. There's also a block infinite with Kenshi. I'm sure that'll be pulled out of the game. So it could be a balance thing. I'm not really sure. But if you can make some of those, especially like Sub-Zero's, I believe it's his 1-2 where he goes, it's the old string that looked like it was like a low, it was like a high low, but like with a punch. It looks like that. That the 1-2, it looks really awkward. It comes out like boom, and he's like blah, and it's like very slow. So if you can speed that up in particular, and some of the other animations with a little bit of a speed up would probably benefit. But overall, the animations I think look visually good, but I think the speed of some of the animations, it looks a little bit clunky. So overall with the beta, I was highly impressed, man. It exceeded my expectations. I loved it. I spent, God, it's gotta be like 8 hours a day. So over 20 hours playing the friggin' thing. And I loved it. I played mostly Katana, a little bit of Sub-Zero. There'll be tons of videos on the channel of me playing it. Also combo videos. I got some rage quit videos and stuff. A lot of quitalities. You guys are going to love it. So if you enjoy that stuff, be sure to click that subscribe button. Don't forget to click the bell so you get updated whenever I post new content. And also down in the comment section, let me know what you thought of the beta. I want to know your thoughts. Even if you didn't play in it, just visually, like from looking at it and seeing what's going on, what did you think? Leave it down in the comment section. As always, I want to thank you guys for checking in. It's Gleez signing out, and continue to game strong.